The NHL is absolutely horrified at this, as they should be. It's great news for Devils fans. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Devils Digest. I'm your host, Ryan the Gosiker, here with you, as always, bringing the latest, greatest Devils content as per usual. We're going to get into some Nico Hischier talk that should fire some Devil fans up for the upcoming season. But first, I want you to know, we want you to be a subscriber here to Devils Digest, because not only do we want that number of subscribed viewers to go up from 40% to 100%, but also we want to reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers by opening night. And we need your help. And we want you to be a subscriber because that's how you stay up to date with all the latest, greatest Devils content here on the channel. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Oh, let's get into the program. Now, I want to talk a little Nico Hischier today. And, I'm not usually the biggest fan of some of this offseason talk, right? And this size these guys come in at, because at the end of the day, everybody's working out, right? The goal for everybody, is to get stronger. But I think at the end of the day, sometimes it's harder, right? Some guys are vets in this league, and they're not necessarily looking to go from just say if they can squat 400, they're not looking to then go squat 600 in an off-season workout. They're working about fine-tuning their game and balancing that on-ice work and weight room work. So obviously still doing both, but I'm saying, the more veteran you get, the more guys are typically just trying to, just make sure they're prepped and their body's in better shape. So maybe some more endurance stuff like that. Nico Hischier has taken it and has looked to add some pounds in the offseason. So, as much so as, the narrative, and he's been labeled at 175. I just want to put a disclaimer out there, guys. If you ever go on an official site of any professional league, of any college, okay, all this stuff is I'd say 95% of it is a lie. And it's rounded to whole, to the numbers of, guys probably sometimes weigh like 172. They're like, oh, I weigh 175. Heights are the same thing. There's always the big debate in the NBA with Kevin Durant. Everybody says he's a 7-footer. He's listed, I think it's 6'9" or something like that. So a lot of the times these pages can never actually be correct. But since Nico Hischier was drafted, his page has said 175. And Jack Hughes is here to tell us that that just can't be the case anymore, and says that Nico is looking larger coming into the season, probably close to 200 pounds. Now that's a big difference from 175, okay? And we're talking about, even just think about it right now. If you at home are sitting there and you're 175 pounds, think about putting 25 pounds on your back and then wearing that around every day. That's not an insignificant amount of weight. So obviously over the course of the years, I don't think 175 has been an accurate number, because 25 pounds in the Devils have been off since mid-May. Okay, so you're looking at June, July, August, and we're into September now, and you add that to the half a month of May, you're looking at 3.5 months. If he gained 25 pounds in 3.5 months, that's I got some other questions to ask. But nonetheless, Nico is he obviously looks bigger, and I think that's at the end of the day that's a broad picture of this. And that is great news for the Devils, and why it should horrify the rest of the league is because Nico Hischier is already proving to be the guy we all want him to be, okay? If he gets stronger and potentially, hopefully, more durable, that adds into, and I know injuries aren't completely about durability, right? Sometimes there's freak incidents, i.e. Jack Hughes last year. But the goal of Nico Hischier getting bigger is not just so he can put on his hockey, trading card that he now weighs 200 pounds. The idea is that it's going to benefit the team. He's going to be stronger. He's going to be able to, he's going to be able to be more physical. Okay. He's going to be more durable. Okay. So he did play 75 games last year. Okay. But he was hurt for a stretch. Okay. So obviously 82 is the amount of games that they play per year. He played 75. Okay, so we would love to see him get closer to that 82 number, because I have been one of the biggest advocates that, not advocates, but one of the biggest believers that Nico Hischier can be and should be a point per game producer in the NHL. And you saw last year, right? You see these numbers here, okay? 75 games, he had 69 points. He was pretty close, okay? Like I said, missed a few games. But I would love to see Nico Hischier be stronger, okay? So his already great defensive work that he does. He can be better. He can be stronger in the face-off circle. Okay, that's obviously a goal as well. And, Nico wants to get that percentage up. Okay, and then more durable for this team, because at the end of the day, this team is just not durable. And that's the biggest thing holding this core back from reaching what their ultimate goal is, which every team's goal is the Stanley Cup. But we know obviously every team's goal is to get the Stanley Cup. Not every team has a core talent enough to win a Stanley Cup. Okay? The talent in this core is one that should win a Stanley Cup. However, we have learned in sports from the beginning of time, probably even going back to stickball with the cavemen, talent doesn't always win. Rarely does it win. Okay? Rarely, just because you have the most talent in the world, does that mean you are the champion of that particular sport. Okay? And especially, now I know in best of 7 series and stuff like that, typically the better team wins. Okay? That's just, the law of averages there, stuff like that. But rarely does, it's just not. Florida's been a different story. Florida has just been different, okay? Florida, even though Florida doesn't have the most talented player in the National Hockey League, he resides in Edmonton, and potentially another top 5, top 3 talented player in the entire world, shows you that Florida played more as a team. They're more cohesive. They do all the dirty work, okay? So that's what the Devils need to do. And that's why I think not necessarily, a lot of talk is like the Devils are trying to model themselves after Florida. And I know they're trying to get as many players as possible that try to fit that mold. But it starts with an ideological change in the core. The core has to sit there and say, hey, we need to do the dirty work. We need to be able to dump and chase. We need to be able to carry the offensive zone. We need to be able to be physical. Because, and just off the physicality point, there are times in hockey games when you watch the Florida Panthers where they just say, no matter what, we're going to be all over you every second of every shift of every period. And they do it, and it's suffocating. It's like a bee's nest just flying all around you, and they're swarming you. You cannot get out of it. That's what this Devils core needs, okay? And where it starts is with their captain, okay? We know Jack Hughes ain't ever weighing 200 pounds, so we can, take that dream and forget about it. But the captain, I like the fact that he has added this weight this offseason. Supposedly, according to Jack Hughes, it looks great, okay? He's in good shape. He's in great shape. He needs to be durable for this team, and he's going to be stronger for this team. So for the Devils, it's great news. For the NHL, it should scare some people, okay? Because Nico Hischier, again, continuing every single year, has seemingly gotten better. Last year, he had 35 goals. He led the team in goals, okay? So I want to see what he can do. And like I said, I would challenge Nico Hischier right here, right now, and I think I have before. Be a point-per-game guy. Be a point-per-game guy. And let's see where the cards fold from there. So that's what I got for you today on this, and I appreciate you guys, and man, I just cannot wait for the season to come up. It is coming fast. It is coming furious, okay? Preseason's right around the corner. Training camp into the preseason, okay? And then opening night is not that far away, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful thing. We can't wait to have hockey back. We want you to be a subscriber to the channel. Help us reach our goal of 1,000 by opening night, okay? Only 40% of our viewers are subscribed. So we need your help to get that number as close to 100 as possible. And that's the way to stay up to date on all the trades, rumors, breaking news, post-game reports, all that good stuff, is by subscribing to the channel. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Let me know what you think. And let's keep this thing rolling. So we'll catch you next time on Devil's Digest.